no, for Shaka Khan. I just stared at her. And I even said to her afterwards, because her microphone was always about a foot away from her. I said, how do you do that? And she just said, it's primal, honey. It's just primal.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pop-Tarts, the new weekly series from Stink the Pink, where we'll be interviewing your favourite pop stars right here on Instagram Live. Let's cast our minds back to 2001, when this talented woman gained a place in the band Hearsay, who went on to win the ITV talent show Popstars. She then went on to have a successful classical career with her classical Brit award-winning album, Moving On. It is, of course, the one and only MYLEENE Klaass.
Ah!
How are you?
I'm so excited. I've been stalking you.
How are you doing tonight? Are you excited to be doing a different lockdown thing tonight?
I mean, my girls are so excited that I've put glitter on. But how do you girls do this? How do you deal with the glitter on the teeth scenario?
Oh, impossible. It looks good
Right.
for like 10 minutes. Well, you still look perfect. So
It's
that's
just
looking
on the
perfect.
teeth. Cannot get it off. Okay, I'll just work with
I know,
it.
well, it's the next day getting off everything else, which is the real nightmare I always find. I want to first cast our minds right back to 2001 when you auditioned for Popstars, the beginning of it all. What was that like, and how did that audition come about?
So I heard about an audition that was going on for a pop band. I've just come out of doing a year on the West End for Miss Saigon. And I was looking for something different. And then I got offered the role of Mary Magdalene, and that was a year on tour. So I thought, this is great. I've got another year of work. I'd just come out of music college before going into Miss Saigon. So I was trying to pay off my student loan. And in the meantime, I was also doing backing vocals. So I was doing backing vocals for Katie Lang, which was insane.
That's amazing.
Look, I wasn't the best singer, but I could sight read. And if you can sight read and you can sing mezzo, you are worth your weight in gold. So I was just working. I was doing BVs for Cliff Richard, Michael Crawford. It was just brilliant. And so that's how I was getting my money in, my pocket money in. And then I just thought I wanted to do something different. I didn't know if I could do another straight year in theatre. So the opportunity for Hearsay came up. And you'll like this. There was one day where the judges were late and the rehearsal pianist didn't show up. So there were people who were saying about what they were going to sing. They hadn't rehearsed. And so I got on the piano and said, look, I can cut your music for you. I can edit this out for you. And so we were rehearsing, and the judges walked in at that point and said, you never said you could play the piano. Now, we weren't au fait with these kind of competitions. It was the first of its kind. So we didn't know that you have to show everything. We were just doing exactly as we were told. So I just said, well, you never asked. And that was it. I ended up playing on Bridge Over Troubled Water. I ended up playing at Wembley, which was a dream come true, just like, 6 or 7 weeks later. And just playing the piano in all these venues that I'd been to see live music. It blew my mind.
That's incredible. What was it like? We're jumping forward a bit now, but that playing at Wembley is like an unbelievable dream, I imagine. Like 2 weeks ago, we did something at Royal Albert Hall, empty. And even that was like, to no audience, was unbelievable to be in that room. What was it like for these arena sellout tours?
I think what happens is it almost becomes a bit Spinal Tap. You start thinking that it becomes a parody. So you say, hello, Wembley, and then it streams, and you're like, what? The whole thing just felt like a dream. But look, I grew up in Norfolk. Nothing I ever did was cool. A biracial girl growing up in Norfolk, playing the piano. I started the Planets Club. I couldn't have made myself any less cool than I was doing on a daily basis. And then to find myself at Wembley, I mean, nobody expected that. No, myself included.
It's amazing. So when you went to music college, did you have any idea that like Popstars was, or not the TV show, but to be a pop star was going to be the thing you wanted? Or was it musical theatre, or was it classical piano, or was this always like in the back of your mind?
I was adamant that I wanted to be a Miss Saigon. That was it.
Really?
I hadn't thought further than that. That was what I wanted to do. And then when
I got the first dream,
and then I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I thought about being a conductor. Then you have to be God of music to do that. And I soon didn't want to do that. And then I wasn't sure that I could even be in the world of pop. I was too classically trained. But then saying that, I wasn't classical enough to be doing 8 hours a day locked in a practice room like you.
No, not like me. I can tell you that's definitely not what I'm doing.
You can't
So,
play like that if you haven't locked yourself in a practice room.
I've been stalking your Instagram. I've been watching your daughter play piano, and she is incredible. That
Yeah.
Chopin waltz on your thing is incredible. So,
Yeah.
is that something you wanted to get your children into super early? Music constantly.
I wanted them to have a trade. So, look,
Yeah.
if they go off and they decide to, I don't know, at the minute one wants to be a marine biologist and the other wants to be
Yeah.
an RAF pilot, whatever they want to do is good by me. But I do think if they've got a trade, if they've got something under their belts, then they'll always be able to feel financially independent. And that to me is so important. And so, yeah, Ava, she did her grade 8 in lockdown just as it started. So she just turned 12. And now she's got 5 pupils and she's earning her own money. So she just comes down the stairs in these fabulous jumpers, and I'm like, where did you get that? And she'll say, you know, piano money. And I'm like, yes, the power of earning your own money. Then you look after stuff better. It just empowers you. And I think because I was a single mum for so long, and I just I really wanted my girls to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. You can't take that away. Whatever happens, she'll be able to teach. She'll be able to have also, you know, to sit at a piano and be able to play those pieces. People say, oh, you know, she's your daughter. Of course she can. Both of them play so well, but they have to put the hours in. So that gives them their own sense of achievement that no one can take away.
It's so amazing. You're so right. It is that feeling of being able to sit down at piano and just play something. It's such an incredible thing. And you always get people who say they wish they'd carried on or wish they could still do it.
No one ever says, I wish I hadn't done it, but everyone says, I wish I kept going.
Exactly.
And also, you know, I get a lot of knocks with what I do. I remember someone saying, oh, what, the tart that tinkles? And I was like, do you know what? I'll take that, because that validation, you can say whatever you like. I can validate myself because I know that I can play. I know I can do it. So whether you like my hair, whether you think I look good or bad in a bikini, it doesn't matter, because I can bring my own validation from what I can do.
Do you think that because obviously when you were starting out, it was like a very different scene in what TV was, stuff like that. Do you think that if your children wanted to do a similar thing to you, to do a reality TV show, would you let them, or would you do it again if you had your time again now and the situation was different? Do you think you'd do it again?
For me, I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
For my girls, I think what's interesting is exposing them to everything that I'm doing, because it soon takes the glamour out of it. And Ava often, and Hero will often say, oh, this is really hard work. You know, what looks like 15 seconds of TikTok just shimmying to the fridge, when you actually just do the transitions properly and actually have to put these kind of videos together. Even just the music classes alone, some of them have taken us hours. It's like a 10-minute lesson that's taken us 3 hours to film. They soon realize that there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. So if they go in with their eyes open, which I didn't, I'll be happy with that. I'll never stop them doing it. But for me, I think I was very, very, very trusting when I first went into the music industry. And whilst I knew the practical side, I didn't know the business side at all.
It is, as I'm sure you know now, I think the 20th anniversary of Pure and Simple now, this year, I think. Is there ever been on the cards a reunion single or anything like that to mark this occasion, or anything like that, do you think?
A reunion single? We could just roll out Pure and Simple again.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I mean.
There was definitely talk last year, and I just said, look, at the minute, I have so much on right at this moment, but I did say to the rest of the guys, go ahead. We have this little WhatsApp group, and I was just like, go for it. It'd be amazing, and I'll be on the front row cheering for you.
So do you all still talk regularly then? You still have this WhatsApp group?
Susie came to my house just to have the discussion about it. So that was really nice. And I really do support them in doing that. I think it's an incredible endeavour. You've got to remember, though, for me, I feel like I was the last to leave the band, because I had to be the one that turned the lights out in the office. I had to walk into one of the who shall remain nameless. It was a massive brand, and they said to me, what are we going to do now? There's 5 of you on these Easter eggs and we've got 500,000 of them. And I'm like 21 years old going, I don't know. And they're like, you know, they want the money back. And I'm like, I don't have it. I can assure you, I don't have that money for your £500,000 Easter egg deposit. And I know there are 5 faces on the cover of the Easter egg box, and there are now only 4. And that every day there is a member depleting. So I remember having to close down the books on all of that kind of stuff, shut down the accounts. because we thought we were going to be bigger than you too. Well, I did. I don't know what everyone
Well
else
on the way.
What I do say to my girls is, if you're going to be in a pop band, do it in your 20s. Do it when you're single and you can travel, and you can just go wherever you like, do whatever you like. Now I've got actual responsibilities. It's just not so band lifey. It's
Yes, exactly.
getting them up for school and having to learn how to do fronted adverbials correctly. And
I mean, the glamour, a different type of glamour, but the glamour nonetheless, exactly. So obviously you started Popstars and reality TV, and then obviously you went on to do a considerable more amount of reality TV as well. What was the most unexpected thing, do you think?
So I think probably the hardest thing that I've found is, when you go to music college, you are taught whatever happens, the performance has to go on. You have to keep that grin on your face. You have to show that nothing's gone wrong. And then as a product of someone who's come from reality TV, you have to then suddenly do what is so against your type, which is showing everything that's gone wrong. Instead of trying to cover it up, you actually have to make a point of saying, it's really bad. And that doesn't sit with me, because it's been drummed into me for since I was 4 years old, to keep on going.
Is that when you started 4 years old? That's when you started performing?
I've been playing piano since I was 4, but then it's the same with my girls. And this isn't like Tiger Mum territory. It's just on my dad's side, I don't think it is anyway. What do I know? There's 6 generations of classical musos on my dad's side. So it was just one of those things you just play.
I'm so intrigued about what you enjoy playing just for yourself.
Well, actually, I just throw myself into the 80s.
Really?
I was just born just on the cusp of the wrong era, because I'm pure 80s. And me and the girls, we've got this little trick. It's funny, isn't it? Because I thought that everyone could do it. But the one thing I can do over people at music college who can play Rachmaninoff like yourself and who can sight read like demons, which is not my strength. But I can hear a tune and I can play it. It doesn't matter what it is, I can do it. And so I'm good in a pub situation. I'm good in a getting everyone singing kind of situation.
You auditioned with a Celine Dion song. Is it true you also then performed with her? Is this true?
I've worked with Celine Dion. So I hosted a show called Saturday Night Divas.
Yes.
And I was really excited to host this, because over both series there was J-Lo and Rihanna and Celine Dion and Shaka Khan. I played the piano for Shaka Khan, and if you look at it on YouTube, you will see I was not cool at any stage.
How could you keep it together? I mean, how can you?
Oh, you can't. I just stared at her. And I even said to her afterwards, because her microphone was always about a foot away from her. I said, how do you do that? And she just said, it's primal, honey. It's just primal. And that's all I ever think about with Shaka Khan now. But yeah, Celine Dion. What I remember about Celine Dion was that you can never call her Celine. Celine Dion.
Precisely, no, exactly. It's a 2-word name.
But there were all these divas on this show. And I thought, who's going to be the first to stage and who's going to be the last? Who's going to Who's going to be the diva of all divas and keep everyone waiting? Or who would dare? And all I can say is it was Celine Dion that was first. She was waiting for everyone else.
Who's the person that you've worked with that's been the most, the craziest experience to work with, do you think?
Just before I went to play my first performance of my classical album that you mentioned, there was a footballer's wife that had shown up to the launch, and I had all these candles everywhere, just for the ambiance, and I was going to walk onto stage in this big white gown, and just as I was walking onto stage, I saw her, and her hair extensions just went up in flames on one of my live candles. So
as you're like elegantly walking up.
Like... No. I pushed her onto the ground. We did the old drop and roll.
What was it like? Because moving on is so much fun, and it's so fun to have those like. Well, actually, on the album, I also love how you have like Moonlight Sonata. You have the 2 versions of it. You have like your version, and you could say they have the classic version as well. What was the experience of like of modernizing or putting your own stamp on those like iconic pieces, like the Gymnopédie, the Moonlight Sonata?
I love you, Miss Dina. I love you. Look at you. Look at you. I loved doing it. It was an interesting one because pop people I don't know if they were ready for it yet. And like now, you can hear Maroon 5 and they're using Pachelbel's Canon, and you listen to Lady Gaga, and everyone's using classical music, a Little Mix and Foray. So it's everywhere if you know where you're looking for it. But now I look back and I think even recently I I put a video up of when I played Daft Punk Aerodynamic in a classical version, and now I look back and I'm like, we were doing really progressive stuff. It was really nice to be a part of that. I feel really proud.
What is like the 2021 and beyond for MYLEENE Klass in terms of music, in terms of everything?
From my music background, it taught me to diversify. I've literally just relaunched a range. I've been designing now for 15 years. I've relaunched a kids range that's now gone back into adult clothes as well. And I think that just comes from working in a team, being creative, wanting to just produce product. The music front, I'll be told off for blowing any exclusives, but there is some more piano coming. I'll tell you what, though, you do get some secret gigs. I did a gig a couple of years ago where I was asked to fly to Lake Como, where a billionaire was going to be unveiling his car to his friends. And
I love that as a party.
I mean, that was the party, and my job was just to play the piano for, I don't know, half an hour. So I've got the most gorgeous, talented, glamorous girls, and they were my string quartet. And my fiance, he flew in with me, and he was just watching all the helicopters landing. You know, when you're just thinking, this is the gig that I've been booked to be on. I'd, if I could have afforded it, paid to be on this gig. It's insane. And you just think music takes you everywhere. But what that, you know, gigs like that, when you just think, wow, it just helps you see a whole other world. I played the piano with Hans Zimmer, Zimmer, who wrote Gladiator, as you know, and I played with, you know, some of the most, I played for Shaka Khan. You just play the piano for some of the most incredible people going, what? I remember when I had to audition to play for Daft Punk. They wanted to see if I could play the ostinato pattern for their aerodynamic. And I'm like, what? My favourite was, I was asked to go to somewhere called the Yap Islands and write a song with a tribe. Bono would have loved it. So we flew a piano in a light aircraft in pieces to Nagasaki, and then we flew over to the Yap Islands and we rebuilt. I know, we rebuilt this piano on the beach around a tribe who were not wearing very much. And we just wrote a song together. But what I do think is, somewhere out there from the Yap Islands, from the island of Mogmog, there could be the next great musician, and I've given them those 4 power chords that are you can play any pop song going. Oh,
I've got my glamorous assistant is coming into frame with, I think these are our fan questions that we have for you. What item of Hearsay fashion should stay in the bin?
There's one thing that I wish I could find, and I've tried to track it down, and it was during the Royal Variety performance, and somebody made me this galvanized belt that said Hearsay, and I don't know where it is. It was kind of a bittersweet, because that was the best part of the outfit, and the worst part was the cloak, because it was covered in peacock feathers, and when I spun around, I hadn't practiced with it because it wasn't ready in dress rehearsal. I spun into my own trajectory and took myself off stage in front of the Queen. I think I cried for a week. Did you? Over in front of the Queen. It was so, and the audience all went, oh, as I went crashing down.
Is it true that you auctioned your famous I'm a Celeb swimsuit? And if so, how much did it make? The infamous swimsuit.
So I bought it for $40 in Australia, and it was auctioned at £7,500.
Oh my God.
I don't know who.
If Popstars had worked out differently and you had been in Liberty X, how would you have coped? And what's your favourite Liberty X song?
Oh, sexy.
Yeah,
obviously. All of them. I think Liberty X were meant to be. They were. We couldn't have been in each other's bands because they were just sexiness personified. They're so hot. That band was just so hot. Jessica in that black catsuit is just.
I think that was one of my first drag awakenings. Like wanting to be those women, you know, like.
Yeah, no, I get it. Me too.
Yeah. Who's the most famous celeb that's ever slid into your DMs?
Oh, there's been a few singers in there.
I'd heard that the most difficult part that you found about I'm a Celeb was the lack of male attention, the lack of sex you had for the 3 weeks. I saw that on Wikipedia this morning. Is that true?
I read that too, but the hardest thing for me being in the jungle was watching Jason Donovan trying to catch this yabby. He made it a yabby is a really, it's bigger than a prawn and smaller than a lobster.
Chic. Love that. I know exactly what you mean.
Okay, so we were really hungry and we made a whole song and dance about trying to catch this yabby, and we were deciding how we were going to cook it and what we should put on it. Not that we had anything to put on it, but it just became like a project, and it took 4 or 5 days, and like, I don't know, by some miracle we finally caught it, and we'd just become friends with it by that point.
Did you
and
kill it? Was it hard to kill it at that point?
No, we named it. Never name it. That's it. That's it then. Well, I genuinely thought that there would be like a secret pizza or a burger on the side. And there wasn't
nothing. It's sheer.
Absolutely nothing. I remember trying to steal sugar cubes from when the runners were having cups of tea. We'd have eaten anything.
Get some sustenance.
Just to get something. But the funny thing is, when I hosted the American version, they staged a mutiny until they were fed. So that's what we should have done. Yeah. They all walked off set. They were like, until you feed us, we're not coming back. So
see, that's it. Take it into their own hands. I love it. It
was just very different to us because they wanted to do the trials, but the food killed them. They had to eat. Whereas with us, we were like terrified of the trials, but the food was just something that kind of we sort of galvanized the group that we were going to get our stars. I thought I was being smart when I went into the show. I said, because they asked what your fears are, and I said dying. Yeah. I thought, well, they can't kill me, and then they put me in a coffin with rising water, and then they nearly did kill me because they then said that the person who'd done the runner who'd done the practice was 2 inches taller than me. So it got to crunch time when the water was over my head and they realised, oh, she's a little bit smaller than the person we practiced with.
Do you think that would be something they really think about?
I don't know if they were telling the truth or not and just trying to wind me up, but it worked.
This has been just the most amazing experience, MYLEENE. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to talk to you. It's been like a real dream come true.
Honestly, thank you so much. And there was a post that you put up which had you visiting Charterhouse.
Yes.
In drag, and I thought that was so powerful. That was something I'd like my girls. I showed it to my girls because you know you can make changes with what you say, or you can just make them with what you do. And walking back into Charterhouse to talk LGBT and the community in drag must have been like so empowering.
The stuff you go through at school to go back in this very wig and talk to all these people about being who you are is amazing. I'm so honoured to have met you, and thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to talk with us.
No, and thank you to everyone for the questions and for joining us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Mwah. Love you so much, and hopefully see you very soon. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you, Sink the Pink.